Now at noon, a man scheduled to be deported today after getting arrested by ICE last week in North Portland.
All of us are scared because we don't know where he's going.
We're going to hear more from his daughter, who's trying to postpone his deportation. Plus, FBI Director Kash Patel reveals new details about the man behind yesterday's deadly shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. And later, for the first time in 24 years, the Mariners are AL West champions.
Here comes the 1-2. Ball game! The Mariners win!
Oh yeah, the final strikeout right there. We're going to have more on last night's division-clinching win, including some fantastic fan reaction. KGW News at noon starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Drew Carney. Our top story here at noon involves a Portland man who was scheduled to be deported this morning after he was arrested last week. He was one of two men arrested by ICE in North Portland. KGW's Corey Johnson has the latest.
The daughter of that man says her family hopes by sharing this update, something can be done to either postpone or stop her father's deportation altogether. Elizabeth Areola Ramirez said immigration officials would not say where they would be deporting her father, whom she identified as Rafael Areola Caballero, but the family assumes Mexico. On September 16th, federal immigration officials arrested Caballero on his way to work, breaking his car window. Caballero's daughter says her dad offered the agents a red card, which had printed on it the rights available to undocumented people facing detention. On Wednesday, Ramirez says her father called from the ICE facility in Tacoma, Washington, to say he would be deported this morning. His family says he moved to the United States from Mexico 20 years ago and is undocumented. She believes traffic violations are the only thing on his record.
All of us are scared because we don't know where he's going, so we don't know where to call. We don't know how to reach him. We'll be getting justice regardless if he does get deported or not.
Now, Ramirez says her father had elbow surgery 3 weeks ago and still has stitches. She says her family is concerned that he may have been hurt and that he's not receiving proper care. Now, we reached out to ICE officials for official comment on that deportation. We haven't heard back yet.
Again, that was Corey Johnson reporting for us this afternoon. Meanwhile, FBI Director Kash Patel shared new details about the man behind yesterday's deadly shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. Investigators say 29-year-old Joshua John downloaded documents listing Department of Homeland Security sites, searched ballistics and ICE tracking apps, and also left a note suggesting he hoped to instill fear in ICE agents. The investigation into yesterday's shooting continues this afternoon in Texas. NBC's Priscilla Thompson brings us the latest from Dallas.
Yeah, authorities say that the gunman fired multiple rounds into this building from a rooftop of another building just behind it, killing one detainee and injuring two others. And we are now learning from my colleague Gabe Gutierrez that according to ICE officials, there are around 8 to 10 detainees in all who were inside that van. We heard the acting ICE director yesterday saying that there were agents and officers who actually went in to try to get them out as they were taking fire. We're also learning more about the suspect, with police and investigators saying that while no officers were injured, they do believe that this was an attack on law enforcement, that they found shell casings next to the shooter that read anti-ICE. And we know that the shooter has been identified as 29-year-old Joshua Jan. NBC News spoke with his older brother, who said that he did not know him to have particularly strong feelings about ICE or to be particularly political on one side or the other. NBC also spoke with a former Boy Scout leader who had known the shooter as a teen and in recent years, who said that he had heard him speak in recent years about immigration, specifically when they were discussing a caravan of migrants that was coming to the U.S. And the shooter was saying that he was upset that people did not seem to understand the desperation of people trying to leave a bad situation. The shooter also saying that he was upset with the immigration system in the U.S. And all of this is happening as you have President Trump and folks from his administration blaming people on the left and Democrats for what he calls rhetoric that is against ICE and against law enforcement for the reason for this attack. But investigators on the ground here say that they are still exploring a possible motive. Back to you.
Again, Priscilla Thompson there for us in Dallas with the latest there. Meanwhile, Portland's ICE facility is undergoing $4.5 million worth of security upgrades. Federal records show improvements at the South Waterfront location began in 2022 with stronger fencing, new gates, reinforced glass, and added lighting. The latest work expands exterior security at the facility, including bulletproof glass, upgraded lighting, and protected ID card readers. Records also show the federal government spent $220,000 in June to board up the building's windows. But just last week, the city of Portland cited the building for land use violations, saying those boards lacked permits and that the plywood had to be removed. All right, break from our news headlines for just a moment as we check in with Rod Hill on the roof here at KGW. Rod, how's it feel out there?
How do you think it feels, Drew?
You look great, so I'm guessing it feels good.
Literally not a cloud in the sky that I can see from the KGW weather deck. We're brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. It's beautiful up here. There's a bit of a breeze, probably 5 to 10 miles per hour. Definitely running cooler than 24 hours ago, but I still think we'll be up into the 70s today. Pretty normal for this late September date, and again, just absolutely gorgeous. We do have one warning that we're tracking for you. We'll show you that on the weather map. This is a red flag warning. The red color for the warning starts in Hood River, includes the Hood River Valley, goes through the Dalles out toward Pendleton and up into Washington. And this is for the fact that west winds are picking up. All of these areas, including you folks in the Dalles, some afternoon gusts could reach about 35 from the west, and that is just increasing the fire danger. And it reminds you that any sparks on a day like today could quickly become a spreading grass or wildfire, so FYI. Let's check out the live cameras. The other part of our weather story is simply all gorgeous. Here's Lincoln City from our Snookwinds Casino Resort camera. 59 degrees, all is clear, on the way to the 60s today. And we'll check out our state capital with our Salem live camera. Just clear skies, been that way all day. Salem's current temperature is 68, easily up into the 70s. And one more stop, let's look at Portland from across the Willamette and our Rose City camera. And at high noon, we are pretty much where I thought we'd be, mid 60s. So we will get up into the 70s as well. Here's that day planner. Again, we've been in the 80s the last 2 days, so I can tell it's not as warm as it has been at noon, but there's a really, really pleasant day for you. 73 at 4 p.m., 65, partly cloudy with some passing cloudiness expected this evening. The big weather story, not what's happening right now, but a change to a rainy pattern for a number of days next week. And we'll have that for you when I leave the sunshine, go back into the studio. That's about 10 minutes away. Back to you, Drew.
All right, we'll see you then, Rod. KGW obtained this new surveillance video that shows the explosion at a food cart pod in southeast Portland on Tuesday. So that was the view from the Crystal Guide store right next to the Springwater Cart Park on Southeast 82nd. The explosion caused damage to the store and 8 carts. Fire investigators say it was caused by a leaking propane tank in one of the carts. Crystal Guide is holding a maker's market this Saturday to serve as a fundraiser to help with the cleanup efforts. Portland Fire says 2 people managed to survive after they bailed out of a car that caught fire on Highway 26. This happened just after 11 o'clock yesterday morning on the off-ramp to the Oregon Zoo. Officials say the car was heading up Sylvan Hill when mechanical issues sparked an engine fire and also caused the brakes to fail. But again, the 2 people inside the car were able to roll out and both were taken to the hospital. Salem police say a man is facing multiple charges for allegedly exposing himself to a family and then shooting at their car. It happened just after midnight, west of I-5 in a parking lot on Silverton Road. That's where 53-year-old Jeffrey Holland is accused of exposing himself to the family while they were in their car, banging on their window, and then going into the nearby shop that he owns to get a gun. Police say he fired at the car as the family drove off. Officers later stopped Holland's truck and took him into custody. His charges include unlawful use of a weapon, menacing, and public indecency. Starbucks says it's closing 1% of its stores in North America, which equates to at least 100 locations. And the closures include the Starbucks Reserve Roastery in Seattle. It was one of only 6 Reserve Roasteries in the entire world. This is video from this morning that shows the windows boarded up and signs announcing the closure. This news comes just days after contract negotiations took place between Starbucks and union baristas pushing for better hours and better pay. Baristas were also seen protesting outside this location just a few days ago on Monday.